Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are excited to present our research project named Analyzing the Incidence of the Contextual and Learning Approach of English regarding the writing and speaking skills in 11th grade students from public school and A1 level students in a language center in Colombia. We are Daniela Morelo, Alejandra Garzón, and Ingrid Higuera. In here, you can see the content that we are going to follow during our presentation. Our study investigates the efficacy of CTL in improving the speaking and writing abilities of 11th grade students at a public school and A1 level students at a language center. Our approach is based on practical applications promoting engaged and significant learning that relates closely to a real-world situation. Our research question is, how does the strategy of using the contextual teaching and learning approach improve the writing and speaking skills in a student's English learning process? Our general objective is to establish the incidence of the contextual teaching and learning approach on enhancing second language learning's writing and speaking skills. In our specific objectives, we have the first one, to identify the second language learners' proficiency in regard to their writing and speaking skills. The second one is to assess the feasibility and acceptance of the implementation of a contextual-based pedagogical intervention. And in the last one, we have to analyze the influence of the CTL on the development of second language writing and speaking skills.
To follow up, we're going to continue with the three main constructs that we took into account in order to develop our research project. The first one is contextual teaching and learning. This one is central to our study. This educational framework emphasizes that learning occurs through social interactions and real-life connections. Our project applies CTL to language learning, encouraging students to engage deeply with the materials and use the language in practical, meaningful contexts. Here we have some samples of authors who define and also carried out research on this first construct, the CTL. Additionally, we explore the writing process and speaking as crucial components of language acquisition. These two skills are best developed in settings that simulate real-life interactions and challenges, thereby making learning more relevant and enduring. Through our review, we found out that integrating these elements creates a more dynamic and effective learning environment, which is particularly beneficial in language education. For example, here we have this patient from Graham, 2018, that says that creating a supporting writing community can foster growth and improvement in writing skills.
Okay, our method is comprehensive, incorporating various methodologies to ensure accurate investigation. We conducted classroom observations, gather teacher feedback, and utilize student surveys to collect data. This multifaceted approach allowed us to gain insights into both the process and outcomes of our pedagogical intervention. We specifically choose students that could benefit from CTL, a language center in Bogotá, known for its diverse learning modalities, and public schools in Medellin facing unique socioeconomic challenges. Our participants include students from these institutions who engage in tasks that require them to apply their English skills in real and meaningful ways. The thematic focus is bilingualism, and the instruments is field notes, questionnaire, artifacts, writing text, and recordings.
Okay, now turning to the core of our project, we had a first cycle with 4 phases: planning, acting, observing, and reflecting. This cycle focused on diagnosing students' proficiency in writing and speaking through questionnaires and observation. These insights help tailor our teaching interventions to better meet students' needs. In the pedagogical intervention, we use the principles of contextual teaching and learning to enhance English language skills through task-based learning as outlined by Willis in 2011. Our intervention was structured into 3 key stages: pre-task, task cycle, and language focus. In the pre-task stage, the teacher introduced topics and vital vocabulary, modeling tasks to prepare students for independent work. Okay. Students wrote down useful words and phrases setting a foundation for the task ahead. During the task cycle, the teacher's role changed to a facilitator, providing guidance and feedback while students actively engaged in applying their knowledge to complete the tasks. This stage was crucial for practical application and peer interaction, where students drafted written versions for class and organized their oral presentations. In the last one, the language-focused stage involved deeper exploration of language elements introduced earlier, with students practicing new words and phrases in structured activities. These reinforced their learning and build confidence. In the second cycle of our research, we implemented 3 microcycles to gradually build upon these skills. Microcycle number 1 focused on basic grammar and self-introduction, and we named this one About Me. Microcycle number 2 expanded into vocabulary about family dynamics and description. The name was My Family. And microcycle number 3 introduced terms related to the city, urban settings, and location, and the name was My Neighborhood. Each cycle was integrated with speaking and writing activities relevant to students' lives, supported by multimedia aids and group discussions, ensuring that learning was both engaging and contextually grounded. Continuous observation and feedback throughout these cycles allowed for tailored instructional adjustments, ensuring optimal students' progression. This structured approach significantly enhanced students' abilities in writing and speaking English, demonstrating, guys, the effectiveness of CTL in fostering active learning and practical application of language skills in meaningful contexts. Over a series of 12 classes, students not only learn linguistic structures, but effectively apply them, showing relevant improvements in engagement and language proficiency.
After the implementation of this pedagogical intervention, we collected the data through the class observations on the field notes, the application of questionnaires at the end of each microcycle, and also the observation of written and spoken artifacts by students.
Good afternoon. I live with my mother and father. They are very serious.
After this, we embark on a comprehensive analysis to understand how the contextual teaching and learning approach impacted students' English writing and speaking skills. For this, we employed NVivo. This is a qualitative data analysis software to process the collected data. This involves detailed coding process where we identify patterns and relationships. NVivo helps us organize and visualize the data effectively, allowing us to dive deep into the nuances of a student's learning experiences. From this inductive process of coding, 9 codes were identified, and later on, 2 main categories emerged. Here we have a sample of the hierarchical map from the NVivo analysis. The first category focused on the enhancement of language production skills. Here, we observed notable improvements in students' ability to articulate their thoughts clearly and effectively in both written and spoken tasks. In terms of speaking skills, students became more fluent and confident. They were better able to structure their tasks and express them clearly in English. The interactive nature of tasks, such as discussing family traits or describing their neighborhoods, provided real-life context for language use, which significantly boosts their speaking proficiency. Also, regarding writing skills, there was a notable progress in how students organize their idea, use vocabulary, and apply grammar rules. The writing tasks integrated into each stage of the CTL process allow students to practice and receive feedback, leading to marked improvements in the written English. The second category revealed the increased engagement and motivation among students, driven by the relevant and contextualized tasks they perform, which made learning more meaningful and enjoyable. The first category is named lesson engagement. And here, we observe a marked increase in students' engagement and development in the lessons. Students actively participated in learning activities, effectively using vocabulary and grammar. They respond very well to feedback and use strategic learning methods, especially in tasks involving personal and emotional content, which deepen their engagement and ongoing learning enthusiasm. The second subcategory is named promoting collaborative work. The collaborative dimension of CTL was particularly effective in this research. Students engage in structured group activities that not only improve their language abilities, but also develop their social and communication skills, creating a supporting learning community. After this analysis, we could say that CTL framework not only enhances specific language skills, but also contributed holistically to the student's language learning process. This promotes active participation, also encourages collaboration, and facilitates a deep connection between the students and the language content. All of these elements combined create a dynamic and effective learning experience that was both educational and transformative for students and also for us, the researchers.
Continue with our conclusions. On the slide, you can see a summary with short statements. Our study has demonstrated the significant benefits of integrating the CTL approach into the English language instructions for 11th grade students and A1 language learners. The CTL approach fosters enhanced engagement, deeper understanding, and significant improvement in both writing and speaking skills, as students encouraged to connect their learning with the real life context. Our pedagogical implications, our findings suggest that CTL can effectively enhance language proficiency and suggest that the educational framework should include more contextualized learning opportunities. This approach not only aids in language acquisition, but makes learning more relevant engagement for students. And our limitations, firstly, the adjustment to contextual teaching and learning approach was challenging for students accustomed to traditional methods, creating initial concerns about grading impacts. Additionally, rich educational policies and curriculum requests limited our ability to fully implement access. Another one is studies inadequate consideration in individual difference in learning styles and prior knowledge, which can significantly influence the effectiveness of the educational approach. And finally, our further research should focus on this individual difference to better tailor CTL methods, ensure they are adaptable and effective across diverse educational settings. In essence, this research underscores the importance of CTL in transforming language education, highlighting its potential to make learning more meaningful and directly applicable to students' lives.
No, okay. Thank you all for your attention and engagement with our presentation today. We believe that our findings contribute valuable insights into the effectiveness of contextual teaching and learning in language education. For a more detailed exploration of our methods, results, and the theoretical frameworks that guided our study, please refer to the references and appendices section in our written project. We invite any questions you may have about our research, and we are more than happy to discuss further the implications of our finding for future educational practices. Thank you once again and for joining us today, and we look forward to your feedback.